Hey YouTube, this is Licious K from Climax Combo, back with another leaks of the week. This week is only Project Diva F2, second, whatever it's called. It's the second booster for Project Diva F. This one does come out the 25th of July, I believe, and last video I did say that English was getting a simultaneous release. However, I was wrong. I think they were planning that on when they were first announced, but they changed it. Now, Project Diva 2 does not have an actual release date in America, but I do believe they are planning to release it in the States. Because why would they not? Because, Project Diva 2 is already coming to America and PS3 and Vita, so they should bring this along. Yes, this video is late once again because last weekend we were at AX. It was a lot of fun. The only tournament I joined was the Destination tournament. To be honest, I got completely knocked up. I was running my Love Live. I was running red, yellow, blue. Um, I only had one day to make the deck since I got it last Tuesday. I worked on Wednesday. I made it Wednesday night. Thursday, spent it at the con. I played like 2 games after the con, and then I played Friday. Uh, the build was, I guess, not the greatest. I felt like it hurt me more. I should have probably ran like none of the new cards just because I was more comfortable with the old cards at that point. But I really did want to try out the new cards in a tournament environment. But I felt like that did backfire on me. But it's all right. You can't win them all. But yeah. Enough of that. I will now go over leaks of the weeks. 2275 Luca. She is common and she is 2 soul because she is 2/2. I should turn that off. Alright, now we can continue. 22752 Soul. Luca, she is music. Well, I'm not going to bother with her traits. Because they're all music in the set. So first of all, she has Recollection. If you have this Hatsune Miku Avante Garde in your memory, this card gets 15. That Searching Miku is the next card I will show you. She combos with Akatsuki Rifle, which is the stock 1 soul, I should say. There is no more blind stock 1 soul, but yeah, stock 1 soul. There's 2 different arts, that's why they're here. When you play the stock 1 soul, and if you do not have this Miku on stage, this gets plus 2k until the end of your opponent's turn. So this would be a 9/5 base, or this would be 9/5 before assist until the end of your opponent's turn. However, when this card declares an attack, and you do have this Miku on stage, this gets plus 3/5 power until the end of your turn. So it would be 11k base, or 11k before assist. So yeah, all these cards combo with each other. So I'll go over all of them first. Next up is this 2/1 Miku, 8k common, 1 soul. When she attacks with Akatsuki Arrival, and you do not have a Luca on the stage, this certain Luca, the successor Luca, this card gets plus 2k until the end of your opponent's turn, so it will be a 10k. However, now she has another effect. When this card attacks with Akatsuki Arrival, and you do have a successor Luca on the field, this card gains 8,000 power plus 1 soul until the end of the turn, and during the start of your encore step, place this card into memory. Once again, stock 1 soul. So this is a pretty interesting combo. Can get a little complicated. So first of all, she needs a Miku in memory to get her to get the plus 1500, so she could be a 9k base. How does she get this effect? You have to gain her recollection. You have to use Miku's combo with the stock 1 soul. So in total, for these combos to be effective, you would have to pay 3 stock for the both of them. And 3 stock at level 3 is, or at level 2 I should say, is quite heavy. Because, the ultimate decision in making your deck, probably one of the hardest part in making your deck is, do you want a level 2 game, or do you want to completely skip that and try to go for a strong level 3 game? A lot of decks do have this problem, and I should really just sign off Steam. And no, I do not know Oprah. That's my friends being retarded. Anyways, so yeah, like I said, do people want to skip a level 2 game to have a strong level 3 game, or do they want to focus on a level 2 game? Because having a nice level 2 game can really push you far ahead on your opponent if they do not have a strong level 2 game. But honestly, I don't think this combo is very good because, like I said, you have to pay a total of 3 stock. It combos with the stock 1 soul. Honestly, stock 1 soul is not the greatest climax. It's honestly not that bad, but honestly, this combo is not very good. And Project Diva F already has Time Machine Miku, and Time Machine Miku and Gates so far is better than this, so I don't think this has a spot. But let's say you do get this off. Like let's say you get Miku. Let's say you have both of them and get the stock one soul. So what do you get? For the turn, you get this unstoppable beat stick of 16k base, and she's smacking for 3 soul because you have the stock 1 soul out. So she's attacking for 3 soul, 16k, and she goes into memory. Then what happens? Then you have this Luca. She's already 9k base because Miku is gone away, and since you had a Miku on the field, when she attacked, she'll be 9k, 12-5 base before assist. So you're left with this giant wall. You're left with this. You had this giant attacker, and next turn Miku is coming back. Wait. Oh no, she's not coming back. I was thinking Time Machine Miku for some reason, but yeah, and then you're left with this. But then at the end of the turn, you're only left with a 2/2 9k, which is honestly really bad. So in my opinion, I don't think the pros outweigh the con because you only get one really strong turn and then like a pretty decent defending turn because you leave another slot open because Miku goes bye bye. So you leave yourself one slot open. Honestly, just side the Luca, or if they don't even care, they could just crash into the Luca. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. So in general, this combo is pretty bad, I think, and it's not going to be ran. Next up, we do have this really good card, however, 2/1 Mako. I believe this card's really good if I remember correctly. She is uncommon, which is pretty cool. First off, 2/5 backup. She has another effect. When you use this backup, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a music character, add it to your hand and then discard a card. So honestly, this card is really good just because of the second effect. Yeah, it is a weak backup. However, its first effect is really good because when you, let's say you're about to die, you're at 3/6, they smack you for 1. You use the backup. If that card is a music character, you add it to your hand, discard a card. Because you add that music character to your hand, it denies your opponent 1 damage that they could have potentially done to you. So in some situations, it might make it would force your opponent to overswing, or they would have to side to get around it. Of course, yeah, they can side to get around it, but if you have like 3 level 3s on the field, then it would be very difficult for them to side for the 1 damage. So overall, just this backup is just really good. I wish this wasn't Love Live because it works with music characters, but unfortunately it is not. So yeah, in general, this Mako is just really, really good. And it's probably going to be a staple, one of at least, in all Project Diva decks. So yeah, lucky you guys. Whoever plays Diva, it's uncommon. Next up, we have as of to be expected of Diva, all these cards just climax combo for days and combo with each other. So this week might get a little complicated, but I'll do my best to explain. Next up, we have this Len, 1155. He's a common. He has Recollection, just like the Miku before. If you have this Solil, I don't know how to pronounce that. If you have this Rin in memory, he gets plus 2k, so he will be a 1175, which is pretty solid. But of course, it is conditional. He has another effect. Recollection, when this card declares an attack with Soundless Voice, which is the flare trigger here. And you have one of these Rins in memory, this card gets plus 3k until the end of the turn. So if you have a Rin in memory, or I'll just go over it after I explain everything. 1045 Rin. This is the card that combos with this. First of all, it also combos with Soundless Voice, the flare trigger. When it attacks with or when you play the trick Climax, you can just send this off straight to memory. If you do search your deck for one of the Lens and put it onto the border that this was in, and shuffle your deck. And she has another effect. When this card gets reversed in battle, pay 1, send to memory. So once again, flare trigger. This combo's kind of cool because you play, let's say, you run the Rin, you play the Climax, you just send her straight to memory, and then you get the free 1175. You don't pay the 1 cost because this combo is costless, and you successfully fulfill his condition of having a Rin in memory, so he'll be a 1175. And since he also combos with the Soundless Voice Climax, when he attacks, he'll get plus 3k until the end of the turn, so he would be 1115 for the turn, and all you really needed was this Rin, and you needed Soundless Voice. And yeah, and then now that you've done it, if you have done it once, then all your lands will be a 1175 with no condition, essentially, because you already got this Rin in memory. And even if you don't draw into Soundless Voice, you can just play the Rin, crash her into something, just send her off to memory manually with the pay 1 effect, and then now all your lens are 1175, which is really strong for a 1-1. So honestly, this combo is pretty cool. The only real downside to this is that it combos with a flare trigger. If this comboed with a 2K1, I think it would be a lot better. But honestly, the thing that kills this combo is 1, flare trigger, 2, it's yellow, 3, we have Time Machine Miku, which is costless. Time Machine Miku is just a great card just to guarantee you building a jillion stock, which would help with the next card that you'll see later this week. So honestly, will Lan and Rin be played? I do not think so, but maybe they do have some potential. But as of right now, I do not think they will be played, unfortunately. Just because of, yellow, flare trigger, cost stock, and Time Machine Miku. Let's go on. Another really good backup for Diva. 2-5 backup. When you use the backup, pay an extra 2. If you do, shuffle your waiting room back to your deck, or shuffle your waiting room to your deck, and there you go. It's pretty much Sheena from Angel Beats, the Lifesaver, and the now Akatsuki from Log Horizon, and now Project Diva has this backup, which is really good. So yeah, at least Project Diva has some really sick ass backups. Next up is a pretty crappy card, 2-1 Kaito. Uncommon, 8k. When he attacks with stock 1 soul, it's a stock 1 soul, right? Yeah, stock 1 soul. Choose one of your opponent's level 3 or lower characters, and that character does not stand during the opponent's next stand phase. Yes, it does target back row. Honestly, pretty bad because it comes with the stock 1 soul. Second, blue sucks balls, and and the climax is not even worth it. So overall, once again, a pretty bad Kaido card. Next up, we have this pretty lousy card. It's a 2-2-8-5. It's a common. Combos with the gold bars. So you can have up to 8 of these Mikus in your deck. If there's no marker underneath this card, plus 3k. If there is a marker underneath the card, plus 3k. So it'll be 11-5 base. When this card attacks with the gold bars, and there are no markers underneath this, get one of these Mikus, Hatsune Miku Conflict, from your waiting room and place it underneath this card to serve as a marker. But it also has another combo with the gold bars. When you when you play the gold bars, and you do have markers underneath it, choose up to 2 music characters from your waiting room and place underneath this. Place 2 music characters from your waiting room and place them to stock into any order. So, what do I think about this card? It's combo, it's funny, but honestly, I don't think it's very good because 1-1, it's 2-2-8-5, which is really weak. Running multiple of these is really going to hurt your stock. It's really going to hurt you in the long run. Because you have to get the combo off twice. You play Miku, you play the gold bars, you get another Miku from your waiting room, place it underneath it as a marker. So now you have a 2-2-8-5 base. If she lives 1 turn, then I guess it starts getting pretty good because then you can play another gold bar and then get 2 music characters from your waiting room and place them back into the stock, and then you got yourself, just a crazy amount of stock. However, the timing for this card can be a little awkward because it does require 2 levels or 2 turns for this card to get off effectively. So let's say you play the gold bars, you get the marker, and then you refreshed, and then there's no music characters in your waiting room anymore to get the stock, and then all of a sudden you have this pretty crappy card that doesn't do much of anything and loses its effectiveness. And it also combos with the gold bars. Tyrant Miku's gold bar combo is far better just because that's their real game ender in the set. So overall, it's a trolley card. I'm pretty sure this card is totally meant to be just for fun, for kicks. But yeah, it's a funny card, but unfortunately it sucks. Next up, Thursday's card. More cards that just combo with each other. So 2-1 Rin. When this card has 2 or more colors, it gets plus 15, so it'll be 2-1-8-5, which it hits vanilla power. Its other effect, all your other Hatsune Miku colorful drops, which is this one right here, gains 1500 power and the color red. Which will make sense once you read this card. 2-2-7-5, 2 soul, common. When this card has 2 or more colors, plus 15, so it's a 2-2-9k. This other effect, when all your other ring Cheerful Candy, which is the first card I showed you, gains 1500 power and the color blue. However, they also combo with this last card. Yes, this is just the alternate arts. They do the exact same thing. Colorful X Melody. When you play this event, place one of your music characters in stand to rest. If you do, search for your deck for 2 music characters, show them to your opponent, add them to your hand, then discard a card from your hand to the waiting room. And then it has a separate effect. When this card is in memory, all your Rins and Miku gains the color green. I believe this card sends itself to memory after you use this effect. I believe. Because that's the only way this card can get itself to memory. Probably just forgot to add it, but this event does. Yes, this card does send itself to memory. I'm not crazy. So this card does send itself to memory. Do keep that in mind. So overall, let's go over this card. 2/1, 7k. When it has 2 colors, it'll be an 8/5 base. How you could accomplish that? You could either use one or 2 methods. You could either have the Miku out, or you could play the memory. You could play the event. If you, let's say you live the dream and you have both of these out, so you'll have the 2/1. It'll be 8/5. This one would pump it up. 9. It would be 10k. This one would be 2/2, 9k, 10/5. So this would be 10k, and this would be 10/5 if you have both of them out on the same time. However, once again, this is a total cost of 3, and like I said earlier, do you want a strong level 2 game, or do you want a really good, or do you just want to save all your stock for a stronger level 3 game? This combo is not strong enough to merit itself. Yeah, because you have to have both of them out. Yes, you can use the event. The event in itself is actually pretty good, just because you search your deck for 2 characters, you get to discard a card, which lets you fix your hand. Since you search out 2 characters from your deck, it does compress you by 2 cards, which is pretty good. And this card does send itself to memory, so you can compress yourself by 1 because it goes away. So you can use this card to get their effects off, just so they don't depend on each other for the effect. But in general, this combo sucks because A, it's yellow. Like I said, yellow right now is not very good. 2, too stock intensive. And yeah, yes, you can use the event and just play one of them, but then at that point, it's not really good just because they'll just hit vanilla power, which is not worth it. The event itself, however, I do think is pretty good. Yes, you do have to rest one of your characters from stand to rest, but however, I don't think Diva is really dependent on their back row to rest. Let's see, they have the 0/0 Miku, that's 500 global, and tap to give 500 power, and their Brainstorm is only tap itself, if I remember correctly. So I think this event is pretty good. Yeah, you do have to tap one of your characters, but I think you can get over that because the 0/0 Miku, you tap, you only give 500 power. You can give that up for 1 turn just to search out 2 characters. So yeah, I think this event is solid. These cards not so much. Next up, we have a 0/0 Miku 1500. She's an R searcher. When it's played from hand to stage, pay 1, discard a card. If you do, search your deck for 1 music character, add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Pretty cool. I'm most positive Diva did not have a generic searcher in the first set, so better late than never. So Diva now has one. Just like Love Live, it is 1500 power. I believe the music searchers are 1500 power just because in standard, music is very powerful. So I think that's why the searchers in music are really weak. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I do believe that is the reason why. And finally, the last card for Diva of the week. And it's some fairly interesting cards. So let's go over the first one. 3/2, 10k. This is the first double R plus shown by Bushiroad. I don't think I said this before, but Diva, I think I did, but I'll say it again. Diva does have double R plus, just like Contact Collection. There are 4 double R plus in this set, if I do recall correctly, and there are 8 normal double Rs. So one of the 4 double Rs pluses in the set is this 3/2 Miku, and it's a fairly interesting one. So it's 3/2, 10k, 2 soul. double R plus, like I said. If you have 6 or more climaxes in your waiting room, -1 level in hand, which is really good. Another effect. If you have 3 or more music characters, gets plus 1k power. Really good. Last effect. Once played from hand to stage, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from your hand to the waiting room, and place 1 card from the top of your deck to the stock. So, yeah. Where do I begin? First of all, first effect. Really good. It finally gives Diva the level 2 game they needed to succeed. Because this is, honest, let's be real, this is a level 2 card. It's just like Maki. You play the card at level 2, at level 3 it loses its effectiveness. It really starts losing its effectiveness. It's an 11k base essentially because you'll have 3 or more music characters. The only time you probably won't is if you use Time Machine Miku's Climax combo. If you have like 2 Time Machine Mikus and then this in the front, then don't play Time Machine Miku because you're gonna lose your 3-2 instead of your 1-0s. But still, most cases it will be 11k base. And its last effect is it's a new on play effect, which is really interesting because you draw 2 cards and you discard 2 cards. It's not optional. You can't draw up to 2 like the normal ones, and you have to discard 2. So this one, let's see. If you have 6 hand, you play Miku, you draw 2, discard 2. This one does not plus you in hand size like the other draw 2, discard 1 because you have to discard the same amount that you drew. But in exchange, you get to get a stock. So essentially this Miku only costs 1 stock. I think this card is really cool. It lets you fix your hand. It only costs 1 stock. It's 11k, and you can get it off at level 2. So with all those reasons, I think this card is really cool. I really like its on-play effect. I think it's really interesting. And just just the ability to come out level 2 and just to smack for 2 souls with 11k base is going to make it more difficult for your opponent. Diva can generate a lot of stock just because of Time Machine Miku's Climax combo. So yeah, in general, I think this card is really cool. Next up, we have this event. It's a really funny event. So 1/1 uncommon event. Miku Miku Nishita Geru. Choose one of your Mikus in his name. It gains 39 power, lol, and the following effect until the end of the turn. When this card reverses opponent in battle, search your deck for up to 1 Miku character in its name, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. So pretty much boost your character by 39, and then kill something, get a character, add it to your hand. Honestly, this event is nothing special. It's just really funny, pretty cute, because it costs 1 stock, and it breaks even in the end. Yeah, you do get to win 1 fight because you give them essentially 4k power, and you get to search your deck, which does compress you by 1. But honestly, I don't think this climax is worth or this event is worth the space in your deck. Next up, 0035 uncommon. Pretty generic on play. When you play this card from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's not a music character, place this card into stock. If it's not a music, place that card into clock. Just like the 00 Asuna, 00 Nozomi, 00 everything that exists. So yeah, at least it's an uncommon. At least it's not an R like a lot of the 0035. Is this card going to be used? Probably not. Solitude Miku is already really good. It's a 00, Solitude Miku, the 00 4k level 1. I forgot its exact effect, but Solitude Miku is already really good. This card might be used just because it's green. It's a green beat stick and can help fix your color count when you don't draw into Solitude Miku. Lastly, this very interesting event. It's level 3, 9 cost. Jesus, it's an R. An R? Not many events are rare, if I recall correctly. That's interesting. Anyways, 9 cost. Why is it 9 cost? Because this card is just pretty crazy. All your characters gain the following effect until the end of the turn. This ability can be activated once per turn. When this card's damage is cancelled, place this card back to stand. What does this mean? You have 3 characters. They attack. Damage is cancelled. They restand. So essentially, your opponent is gonna have to eat a lot of shit when you play this event. However, is this card foolproof? Not exactly. First of all, 9 cost. This is like the most stock intensive climax in existence, maybe. I could be wrong. The other one that pops into my head is Execution, but that's only 8 cost. This one is 9 cost. But let's go over the downsides of this card. Or, of course, the upsides of this card. When you play it, your opponent has nothing in the front row. Let's say they crashed. They have nothing in the front row. Play this climax. Good game. Bad side of this climax. If your opponent does have 3 really powerful characters, things can go a little weird because of the timing of this climax. So, okay, it specifically says when the damage is cancelled, place this card back to stand. It's essentially like a normal double attacker like Kuroyuki Hime, Kirito, like Kuroyuki Hime and Kirito. When they stand and they're reversed, they don't get to double attack, and all your characters pretty much have that condition. If your opponent has 3 very powerful characters, and if you attack, and if you don't win the fight, you don't get to restand because first the damage is cancelled, and then battle happens. Now that battle happens, your character is now put into reverse if they lost a fight. So that since they're reversed, they cannot go back to rest to attack. So essentially, so if your opponent has 3 level 3s, you can't just play a bunch of no-cost characters and try to get this effect off because they will be in reverse. So if your opponent has 3 level, and you can't play like a +2 soul climax because you're gonna side for 0 damage unless you trigger. But if you trigger, you're only gonna deal 1 or 2 damage, and at that point, it's not that good as you're kind of just relying on luck at that point. So, and if your opponent has 3 powerful characters and you're forced to reverse them, you're forced to play, let's say, 3 level 3s. Playing 3 level 3s is 6 stock. And if you're paying 6 stock, how can you possibly play this 9 stock unless you have 15 stock? And at that point, I think you're already winning the game so hard. How can you be possibly losing? Like, you already have so much stock at that point. It's not really likely you're gonna have that much stock. So in general, this combo is just it's pretty situational just because you have to reverse the opponent's characters to get this effect off. Yes, this card is really good if your opponent is like crashing, because then I think they're just going to lose the game when you play this. So in general, I think the card is interesting. Like if your opponent, I've seen a lot of players counter Factory Miku by just crashing all their characters into the healer, because the healer is 11-5 base, so it's really easy to crash into that. So I would see a lot of people like just be too scared of Factory of Miku, and they would just go crash, and then because they do that, Miku doesn't have a real game ender if they play like that, because you can't send anything to clock if they don't have any characters. However, with this, if they do that, they're fucked harder. So yeah, I think it's hard to explain this card, but in general, yes, this card seems OP, but do keep in mind it does have its downsides. However, with the new level 3, since you get a stock when you play it, it makes playing this climax a little easier, and since it is 11k base, it is easier for you to successfully reverse your opponent's character when you use this climax. So yeah, in general, I think this climax is really interesting. I think it looks like a lot of fun to play this climax, and yeah, I'm really interested to see where people go with this event. Maybe people will just run one event. Running more than one, I think, is pretty insane, just because this card is kind of situational. Like if you're losing and you draw into this, then you're fucked. But if you can get this off, then you win the game essentially. And yes, you can side with the cards. Like if you have a level 2, or if you have like a level 3 and you have a +2 soul climax, you could just side. If the damage is cancelled, then you can stand and you could go side again, which is pretty funny. But yeah, situational. It can situationally be awesome or situationally shitty. It's pretty hit or miss. But in general, that is the leaks of the week. Some pretty interesting cards. Honestly, a lot of these cards are pretty crappy. I don't know why, but Bushiroad doesn't seem too nice to Diva. However, they got some really nice backups. All these cards in general, I wouldn't run. Like all these really combo-y cards, I wouldn't run, to be honest. I really do like this Miku though. I think this Miku is really cool, and I think this event is really cool Perhaps it has potential. We'll see. But yeah, some interesting cards for Diva. And this is only the first week for Diva. We got 1, 2, 3 more weeks to go, guys. So hopefully they'll start showing more cool stuff. And yeah, like I said, or like always, if you have any question or comments, please leave them below. And excuse me, until next time, guys.